Let's go!
Tell me what you want right now.
Hello everyone, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 2021 Xbox at Gamescom stream. I can't believe it's been 2 years since we were together in person in Germany. And in fact, it's been 6 years since we hosted our first ever Fan Fest with over 1,000 Xbox fans on a giant boat on the Rhine River right there in Cologne, Germany. I have so many wonderful memories from back in 2015 with our fans and all the Fan Fest events that have happened every year since then. I even remember it was raining and that first Fan Fest, fans were waiting in the rain and they were still so excited just to come in and be part of the event. And Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, and others for the team were there greeting them as they were waiting. I made so many friends from that event. Even to this day, I stay connected with fans around the world that I've met at Fan Fest. And on behalf of all of us at Team Xbox, we truly treasure these memories and we miss being there in person. That's a highlight of the year for us, is to get out and be with our fans in person. We know fans in Germany, across Europe, and from around the world would travel to be there with us at Gamescom. And we will be back with you in the future. But we still want to take a moment to celebrate the Xbox gaming community and the games that continue to connect us. When you meet people face to face and you hear their real stories, you begin to understand the power of social connection that only gaming can unlock. This year, I'll miss hosting that lunch we did with fans every year at Gamescom, or the impromptu meets and greets we would do at Gamescom with our studio teams, going out for coffee and answering all the questions that our fans had. But I also love how our FanFest community has grown globally. And hearing stories of fans that are sharing swag from events or looking out for each other, especially during difficult times, that really warms my heart. I love the family feeling that our gaming community fosters. And given the state of the world today, for so many people, gaming is now the primary way that many of us stay connected. It is our primary social way to connect with our friends, no matter where they are. And that's why I'm excited to highlight especially our German and European community today and celebrate the connections we formed with them through Xbox. Because whether you're there in person or not, we're still connected through our memories and our passion for games. On behalf of everyone at Team Xbox, to all of the Gamescom gaming community and fans, thank you for the memories. Thank you for joining us here at 2021 Xbox Gamescom Stream.
Die Gamescom bedeutet mir unglaublich viel. Sie ist mehr als nur ein Sommerurlaub, mehr als nur ein Ausflug. Es ist der Ort, an dem alle Gamer zusammenkommen, um ihre Passion auszuleben.
Ich liebe an der Gamescom, dass ich dort die Möglichkeit habe, mich mit anderen Community-Members zu treffen, die ich vielleicht nur von den sozialen Netzwerken kenne, aber natürlich auch Freundschaften zu pflegen, die sich über die Jahre aufgebaut haben und man auch nur relativ wenig Gelegenheit, sich auf einer persönlichen Basis zu treffen. Ich freue mich immer sehr, wenn neue Spiele vorgestellt werden und dass man natürlich neue Produkte zu sehen bekommt. Und die vielen Merchandising-Stände komplettieren dann das ganze Gesamtbild.
Mit Gamescom verbinde ich ganz stark Community. Ganz einfach, weil bei meiner ersten Gamescom 2014 habe ich so meine eigene Community so ein bisschen gefunden. Genau, weil ich immer herausgefunden habe, dass es Leute gibt, die genauso verrückt sind wie ich und auch in ihrer Freizeit Kostüme bauen, aus Spielen und aus Filmen und allem Möglichen. Ja, und da habe ich einfach einige meiner besten Freunde tatsächlich kennengelernt, die ich immer noch sehr wertschätze.
Hallo, mein Name ist Paulina. Ich cosplaye eine Odyssey aus Halo und ich liebe die Gamescom, weil ich sehr viel Zeit mit meinen Freunden da verbringen kann, weil ich beim Xbox-Stand sehr viel Zeit verbringe und es liebe, mit den Menschen zu interagieren, die die gleichen Gaming-Interessen haben wie ich. Mein Lieblingsmoment war auf der Gamescom 2018, als wir mit unserer Halo-Gruppe auf der Bühne standen und einfach zusammen die Fans anschauen konnten. Und ich hoffe, dass wir das nochmal machen können.
Mein Name ist Daniel Heidhorn, Gamertech Schnittgemüse. Und was ich an der Gamescom so toll finde und liebe, ist, dass sie wirklich zentral in Deutschland, in Köln liegt und dass sie alles verbindet, was Gaming ausmacht. Videospiele, Cosplay, Streaming, das direkte Aufeinandertreffen der Entwickler mit den Fans, die auch Rede und Antwort stehen, all das macht diese Gamescom wirklich einzigartig.
Die schönsten Erinnerungen für mich an die Gamescom sind auf jeden Fall die Xbox-Events. Alleine das Xbox Fanfest oder das Xbox Open Doors Event, wo ich wahnsinnig viel Spaß hatte, wahnsinnig coole Leute kennengelernt habe. Und ich hoffe, dass ich das in den nächsten Jahren mal wieder erleben kann, weil es fehlt mir wirklich sehr und ich habe da voll Bock drauf.
Hey Leute, was die Gamescom für mich bedeutet, wollt ihr wissen? Also ich muss sagen, die Gamescom ist für mich schon immer eine riesige Gaming-Community gewesen, wo auch die Xbox-Fans als große Familie zusammenkommen, sich in die Arme nehmen, Freundschaften schließen und einfach gemeinsam Videospiele aus der ganzen Welt feiern.
Die Gamescom bedeutet für mich auf jeden Fall so eine Art Familientreffen. Es sind einfach so viele gleichgesinnte Leute da, die alle Bock auf neue Games haben, generell dem Gaming unterliegen sind quasi. Und dass man die ganzen Leute trifft, die Spiele mittesten kann, die Community, die man eventuell so kennt. Ein Riesentreffen von Gleichgesinnten, die alle Bock auf das Gleiche haben. Das ist für mich Gamescom. So,
hey, ich bin Roberta.
Ein Riesentreffen
die Gamescom
von Gleichgesinnten.
ist persönlich für mich ein Event, auf das ich mich jedes Jahr freue. Ich war 2012 das erste Mal da und was soll ich sagen? Ich bin seitdem ein Dauergast geworden. Ich nehme jedes Jahr Urlaub, weil es einfach megamäßig Spaß macht, dahin zu fahren. Ob mit Freunden oder mit Bekannten oder generell neue Leute, die du da kennenlernst. Es macht mega Spaß, es ist immer ein Erlebnis.
Hey troopers, it's Gray from the 4th European and I'm here to tell you why I love Gamescom. Whether if you're into the newest tech, like the brand new Xbox, or the upcoming video game releases like the new Halo, or if you're out just to have some fun and cosplay like me, you're bound to find anything and everything that you love and want to do, all under one roof. Have some fun, so go check it out. See you there.
Die Gamescom bedeutet für mich persönlich extrem viel. Es ist nicht nur ein Urlaub, es ist jedes Mal ein Riesenabenteuer. Jeder einzelne Messetag ist speziell und man weiß nie, was passiert. Ich habe so viele lustige und tolle Dinge erlebt und möchte keine Sekunde davon missen.
Was war die schönste Erinnerung an die Gamescom? Als ich mit meinem Rollstuhlfahrer-Onkel, der ist jetzt schon über 60, den habe ich mitgenommen und der war ganz begeistert von dem Xbox-Stand. Alles war ebenerdig. Die Anspielstationen waren breit genug für einen Rollstuhl. Das Team vor Ort war klasse. Die waren total aufmerksam. Echt super geil.
Hi, ich bin Nicole alias Niki Tzatziki und es gibt jede Menge Gründe, warum ich die Gamescom liebe. Das fängt mit den Games an, geht über Merch, Loot, übers Cosplay und hinaus zu meinen Freunden. Gamescom ist für mich das Event im Jahr, wo ich die meisten meiner, vor allem Halo-Cosplayer-Freunde wieder treffen kann. Wir sind mittlerweile eine doch große Familie und ich freue mich jedes Mal darauf, sie wiederzusehen.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream.
We've got so many great game updates to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this, and Playground Games' vision of Mexico is muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first look at the cover car for the game, Paris. I got $5 on it being one of those electric scooters that you see piled up on the sidewalk.
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer, and this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go!
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it. But it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series? Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping off them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream. York, thank you for being here. The last time we met was at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
all right.
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we. So I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this world update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images. We have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains. So the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany. We have Basel in Switzerland. We have Vienna and Graz in Austria, and those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight those.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. But you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's, you know, the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world, not so much. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these planes to an extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can really do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers. And he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring these, to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working with 40 museums around the world. And it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the job. You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies. And they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their remaining planes. And they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes. And they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity, and we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working with a fascinating German company called Volocopter, and they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic. So they have a vision of the future, how these drone-type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their plane and their aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing. I'm so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association. And every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race. And we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth. And I actually brought you a little trailer to look at.
So race, speed, we go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that. You know I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world, there's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
All right, thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Here I come!
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now, we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that, in grand retro fashion, sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit. Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years' War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get one moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I got to see. Let's take a look.
A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances. At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is, history is only as interesting as the people who taught it to you. And you could say that about any subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV, and they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know, get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man. Well, I think my personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery. Okay. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and, like, how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when you shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, you know, like, illuminated history and hawk falconing and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation, and there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack for the Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys... Age of Empires, always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way. And I also love to mention this to people, that you and the team do so much research. And it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But, I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know, sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do, is try to tell these stories in a different way. But I'll tell you, like, full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun, and finding that middle ground has been really challenging. And, you know,